Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is John Bennett. I'm with Western Bank in St. Paul. Delighted that you could join us on such a nice sunny day here in Rice Park, heart of the city of St. Paul. It gives me great pleasure to be here and address such a wonderful crowd. Thank you for your support of St. Paul Parks and this Rice Park here in St. Paul. Give yourself a round of applause for braving the nice warm weather we have. So I get to act as the chair of the St. Paul Parks Conservancy and also get to work on behalf of the Rice Park Revitalization Committee. I'm board chair of that group, a wonderful relationship between the St. Paul Garden Center and the Rice Park Association, members of which will be visiting with us here later today. I think anyone who spent any time in St. Paul has had to have enjoyed the many contributions that the Rice Park provides the city of St. Paul. Over 130 years ago, the park was gifted by a businessman, Mr. Rice, to the city of St. Paul, and that generosity continues to flourish and people benefit constantly. This past Saturday night, we launched the button unveiling for the St. Paul Winter Carnival, 130 years in the making. We had the lighting of the Rice Park tree. The Minnesota Wild went on to win a wonderful hockey game. Health East endorsed another wonderful celebration of philanthropy to the health and well-being of the St. Paul residents. It's just a great place to be, and I applaud the efforts of all the wonderful organizations that are here to join us today. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mayor Chris Coleman. He's got a few words he'd like to say, and would you welcome him with a nice warm applause.
Well, thanks, John. I feel like we could just kind of all gather around and we wouldn't need a big microphone, but it's nice to have everybody here, and it is absolutely gorgeous day. The Saturday night was wonderful. There were literally, I don't know how many hundreds of people that were here for the lighting, if not thousands. Then with the opening of the skating rink, it was just one of those magical nights here in Rice Park. And there really is, I've said this a million times, I don't think that there's any finer urban square in America than right here. If you look at the historic buildings around it, if you look at how this anchors the Arts and Cultural District with the Ordway and everything that's happening there, the Great St. Paul Hotel, and the wonderful kind of destination environment that is, the library and all the things that are happening there, it just is absolutely such a wonderful spot. But it is a spot that we can make even better. Really kind of give it a fresh approach and a fresh look, and we're so excited to really envision what the future of Rice Park will hold. And I think it's always important. It's like the shark, you got to keep on moving forward. The fact is, this has been the anchoring piece of the city of St. Paul for so many years. But in order for it to continue to be that, we need to really think through what we need to do to enhance this. What do we need to do to make it adapt to some of the things that we're doing in the city now and some of the new vibrancy and vitality that we're having. We talk about great spaces and great places and all the excitement that's happening and that investment that needs to occur here to really make Rice Park continue to be that centering district for the city of St. Paul is critical. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for helping us envision this, help ultimately pay for it, which would be great. But most importantly, thank you for continuing to believe in the vitality and the wonderful city that we call home. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor Coleman. Also today we have David Thune, council member from Ward 2. He's going to say a few words and certainly bring him to the table as well. Thank you.
At my age, I need help up and going down. If I stay on 2 feet, that'll be good. Well, St. Paul loves its parks. I think we all know that, and every neighborhood in the city has got its parks. From the far west of town to the east side. And downtown, I always keep reminding people, is a neighborhood. And downtown, we are especially proud of the fact that we've got so many wonderful parks. And this park, Rice Park, it's kind of the quintessential classic St. Paul, historic, European park. And like the mayor said, you don't just stand still. You got to keep moving forward. It is time for a fresh look. It's time for more attention to accessibility. And I think we're going to wind up with just a real beaut here. It's really great to have a mayor like this who has supported downtown all these years. Well, I've been around 20 of the last 26 years on the city council, which is probably too long. But I never said that until after I was reelected last time. Anyway, downtown has changed so much in those years. From the kind of place that people made fun of the fact you could shoot a cannon down the street, to something that's vibrant with lots of activities, bars, restaurants, housing. Probably almost pushing near 10,000 people living downtown. We're starting to see the fruits of that. And of course, we're seeing the fruits of that because people are using the parks so much. This is going to be, sort of the piece de resistance for this part of town. And I'm very proud to have represented this area. Rest assured, my successor, Rebecca Necker, does support the parks heavily, and is in fact working on her list of major park items to support as she comes into office. And you will be well represented, and the city of St. Paul will be all the better for it. So thank you.
Thank you, David. We did mention earlier that this partnership, there's a partnership that supports the Rice Park Revitalization Committee. It includes the St. Paul Parks Conservancy, the St. Paul Garden Club, and the Rice Park Association. I'd like to invite Colleen Fitzpatrick up now to say a few words on behalf of the St. Paul Garden Club as well, please. So welcome, Colleen.
Thanks, John. And thanks, Mayor Coleman and Councilmember Thune for all your service to St. Paul and for your support here today. Together with Betsy Kelly, we represent the St. Paul Garden Club in this Rice Park revitalization project. In 1927, the St. Paul Garden Club's 17 founding members chose Rice Park as its first community beautification project. 88 years later, we are still embracing Rice Park through installation and maintenance of gardens and containers, special replacement projects, and advocacy. We volunteer countless hours to improve this park yearly, and we're happy to do so. 2 years ago, we took a hard look at the park and noted how worn out it looked. It never has a day off. With the increase in foot traffic, events, use and abuse 24/7, the park needed much needed attention. Further looking, we noted that the infrastructure was in desperate need of updating. The irrigation system was down more than it was up. The electrical system was outdated. With the full schedule of events, it was not up to standards. The turf was either bare, muddy, or had worn footpaths crisscrossing the park. The lighting was inadequate, making the park a security issue in the evening. There are thousands of people who stop or pass through this park daily, but no one really looks at the park, the bones of the park. They see the wonderful, magical events. We see the aftermath. In the spring of 2014, we reached out to the Students for Design Activism. These volunteers are all graduate students at the University of Minnesota College of Design. We asked for a conceptual plan for the park, and they were up to the challenge. They delivered the conceptual plan for the park last fall, and this plan was the springboard to where we are today. With the conceptual plan in hand, we presented it to Rice Park Association and to St. Paul's Parks and Recreation. We did get everyone's attention, and people really started to see the park, those bones of the park and those needs. From there, we partnered with Rice Park Association and the St. Paul Parks and Recreation Department. The St. Paul Garden Club went on to raise $46,000 needed to have St. Paul Parks and Rec Design and Construction Department create the conceptual plan, which you see here today. A special thanks to Mark Granlin, who has been a support to us over these years, to Ann Gardner and her team of landscape architects, and to Mike Hom for his support and guidance in this process. This past August, the Garden Club and Rice Park Association partnered with St. Paul Parks Conservancy to realize this vision. Rice Park is the front yard to downtown St. Paul, and it richly deserves this revitalization. So let's put out that welcome mat. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. We have one more member of our team from the Rice Park Association, and that's Amy Mino. Would you give her a round of applause as well?
Thank you, John. And thank you, Mayor Coleman and Councilmember Thune, for being here today to celebrate this beautiful place. I am the current chair of the Rice Park Association. We are a private advocacy group made up of a lot of the members who are here today, the organizations around the park, the St. Paul Hotel, the Ordway Center, James J. Hill Center, the library, the Schubert Club, and even some of our neighbors further afield, Bremer Bank, District Energy, Science Museum. We all care about this neighborhood and this park as our center focal point. We can't thank the St. Paul Garden Club enough for getting this whole process started. They, from the beginning, were diligent in keeping us focused on this. And at Rice Park Association meetings, we had talked about different things that were occurring in the park, concerns about safety and other things, lighting, and this all culminated in the St. Paul Garden Club's effort to raise the money to start this whole process off. So we can't thank them enough for all that they've done for this park. This Rice Park revitalization effort is going to enhance all the investment that's already been in the park. And we know from the Ordway Center just completing their project, a new concert hall. Landmark Center just completed a $4 million renovation outside, and the other things that have been going on, prior investments in the hotel and the other buildings. This really is our front yard, and it needs to look as beautiful as it can. Some of the new things that we really love about the concept plan, the new flower beds and borders, of course, are going to make it look beautiful in the summer, but also an artistic light feature for the fountain that will make it look, brighten it up in the nighttime hours as well as in the winter hours, and enhanced lighting throughout the entire park, including on a new pathway that is planned to crisscross the park and further connect the hotel and the Ordway in such a way that people can traverse through that part of the park as well. Also, will be new investment in the daily use of the park. So things that will make people be able to enjoy it on a daily basis. New seating, new tables, different things that make it appealing to be here throughout the entire week, not just for the special events. So it's a great plan. We're really looking forward to dressing up the front yard, and we hope you'll all be there to help us see that through to the end.
Well, thank you again thank you again, everybody. I really enjoy the nice crowd we have here. Thank you, Mayor Coleman, to support. Your endorsement for this project means an awful lot. I'd like to thank the folks in the background as well. This truly is a great project, folks, and I think when you think of the number of people who've been engaged, proposed to enjoy the spirit of St. Paul, the enthusiasm that lives around this park, there's a number of vested stakeholders. Your contributions today and going forward will mean a lot to the success of St. Paul, and we're excited about this adventure. We're on this project in total will be $2.4 million, and the consortium of this partnership that we talked about today is hoping to raise $1.35 million. There's plenty of information on the internet, plenty of information that we're going to be handing out later today. A donation to this organization ensures the vitality of the city of St. Paul, and I encourage you to join us and be part of the great future that we have here. Thanks again for joining us, and please enjoy the Rice Krispie bars, complimentary of the St. Paul Hotel, and the warm hot chocolate and coffee. Thanks again, everybody.